What's up, my dude? You was popping back when Usher would. You changed. God dang, you've changed. You guys really need to listen to what I'm saying in this video. You really need to pay attention to what I'm saying because there's so many of you guys, you still just don't understand it. You still just don't get it. Okay? Listen. RF is not even RF anymore. Okay? Listen to what I'm saying again, because I know it's hard. I know it's hard to accept that. I know exactly what a lot of you guys are going through, okay? Because I went through the same exact thing. Why do you think I've been so off and on pro racing for the past 2 and 3 years? It's because I've had to go through that process of wanting to race so bad, still wanting to compete, still wanting to play the game, but having to come to that realization that the shit is just not what it was. It's just not at all what it was before RF shut down and came back. That is really when everything changed right there. Back at the end of 2017, that's when everything changed. And it's taken me 2 or 3 years to actually fully realize what's happened with this. And, you know, I understand because it's so hard. You put all that time into MX Simulator. It takes so long to even get to this level. You know, you've got so much invested in it. And it makes it to where it's so hard to give that up. You know what I mean? No matter how shitty the pro racing is, no matter what's going on, no matter what kind of hacking, key sharing scandal, RF official, you know, getting the track early, RF track maker sharing the tracks with these people early, whatever the hell it is, shady shit that's going on, right? You can look past a lot because of how amazing the game is. Right? You can look past so much, and it's crazy that I realize all this now, but it's like you look past things that you shouldn't, right? And you still compete, you still pay your money, you still participate just because you've got so much invested into the game, and it's still such an amazing game. The physics on the bike, feeling on the bike are still unmatched, still to this day, 13 years later. There's still no other motocross game out there that is better than MX Simulator. It's just not. It's just not. As far as the feeling on the bike, it's just not. I mean, MX Bikes has a lot of cool elements to it and things, and one day MX Bikes might actually become better than MX Simulator, but it really is just not the completely, fully finished, developed, you know, simulator physics system like what MX Simulator is right now. So my point being is, still to this day, there's just nothing else that is really going to even compete with the pro racing, you know, experience of the pro racing organization in MX Simulator. No matter how shitty it is, no matter what's going on with it, no matter, you know, how bad it's gotten, there's still nothing else that is really competing with that. And that's the biggest problem, right? That's the biggest problem with this whole thing, is the fact that RF is really the only thing out there still that is actually doing pro racing for MX Simulator. I mean, there's some of these other little side, you know, series and things like that, but there's no competition. There's nothing holding up RF to a standard, right? They're getting away with this, well, we're all that's really out there, so we can get away with anything, right? And they're playing on that right now. They really are, because it's true. That's all that there is out there. So that's what it comes down to. You have to realize that today's RF is not what it was before they shut down. Nothing about it is the same. It's not the same people. It's not the same officials. It's not the same track makers. It's not the same anything. Therefore, it's not the same thing anymore. right? A lot of you guys, it's just so hard for you to get that in your head. But I'm telling you, it is not the same thing anymore. Yeah, they're still running the RF name because they know that's gonna get a lot of attention and it's gonna get people participating and all that kind of stuff. But it is not the same thing anymore, man. It's just so hard for people to understand that. It really is, because they just don't. A lot of people just don't want to believe it. They just don't want to accept it. They just want to keep thinking it's still the same super professional racing experience, like AMA Supercross in a virtual world like it used to be before they shut down. A lot of people are still trying to think that it's like that. And the fact of the matter is it's just not anymore. The way I look at it is, it feels to me more like RF nowadays is like what some kind of side series would have been back whenever I first got into the game. I'm telling you, man, everything that I've experienced in the community and the pro racing of this game over the past 2 and 3 years after RF shut down and came back, oh my dear Lord Pastrana, you would not believe all the crap that I have seen. You would not believe it. From the RF officials, giving the tracks early to everybody and their grandmother, the track makers getting the tracks 5 days in advance and still going in there and participating with everybody that only gets the track for an hour before the race, right? All the different hacks, key sharing, them letting key sharers back in after they've been caught doing it, all that kind of stuff, all the different hacks coming out. I mean, all the different races that there was so much lag, you literally couldn't even function in the race in some of the outdoors in like 2019, even back to like 2018. I mean, it was just like, oh my word. I mean, all the races they've had to cancel, reschedule, all the races they've had the Erode level to literally an enduro cross level, first gear. I mean, all the different races they've had that in 2019 was insane. Like, all the different Erode beta testing, changing this to that, to this to that. No, it needs to be like this. No, it needs to be more Erode, less pre-made. No, it needs to be more pre-made, less Erode. No, we can just go with no pre-made and a crap ton of Erode. No, we can't do that. It's just like all of the crap that has happened over the past 2 and 3 years in this game. It's been mind-baffling. I mean, it is nowhere even close to what it was before 2018. It's just not at all the same thing. It's not even the same thing, guys. Like, you just not getting it, man. There is so many more people getting away with hacking, key sharing, all that kind of crap now. Because now, what it feels like to me is it feels like RF now is just, it's kind of like a bunch of these random community people that have just tried to bring back RF, right? This is not the original people that built RF up to what it was. This is not the original track makers. This is not any of those same kind of people. This is kind of the leftover community people that are just still happen to be sticking around after RF shut down. The real RF shut down, right? This is the people that are still just sticking around, and they're just trying to gather up the pieces to try to make it back into what it was, and it just hasn't been at all. It just has not been the same thing at all. And the sooner some of you guys realize that, and I know it's hard to accept that, it's a hard pill to swallow, because this is the most amazing, gaming, professional motocross in a virtual world racing experience that you can possibly have. I know it's hard to let that go. It's so hard to come to that realization, but you have to come to the realization that it don't even mean what it used to mean to win a race in RF now, or win a championship in RF now. It's not even the same anymore, because when you get to that point to where you've got so much key sharing, so much hacking, so much scamming, so much RF shady bullshit, political, toxic community, all this crap that's going on now in the game, what it means to do good in a pro race and RF just goes down and down and down. And that's all it's been doing for the past 2 and 3 years. The more and the more shady shit, the more and the more, Rush Chapmans of the community that we get in here that don't give a shit about the game. They just want to completely destroy the community of the game. They want to destroy all credibility to the game. All those kind of people, why do you think I get so upset at these people for doing all this bullshit like key sharing and hacking and all this kind of crap? It's because they're literally ruining the entire ecosystem of my favorite game of all time. That's what they're doing when they do that. So what happens is the more and the more hacking, key sharing, and all that you get, it gets to a point where you can't even trust the results anymore. You can't even trust that somebody that won a race actually won that race. You can't even trust when somebody wins a championship that they actually won that championship fair and square and legit. And that's what I'm saying, because there's so much of this shady crap going on in the game now. And RF doesn't even actually fully permaban you when you get caught key sharing. And this is the biggest thing I've tried to explain to people. It's not about who's been caught, okay? RF has caught all these idiot dudes that just don't really give a shit, and they're just wide out in the open with it, like, hey, look at me, I'm cheating in the game. Hey, RF, look at this, look at the hack that I have. What are you gonna do about it? Hey, RF, look at me, I'm key sharing in literally every other race. Hey, that's the only way you're gonna get caught doing anything in this game. You have to literally be that obvious with it to get caught. I'm telling you, RF has got this problem where they have this mentality of like, well, let's just hope that nobody's running hacks in the pro racing, right? Let's just hope that nobody's key sharing in the pro racing. They're not literally sitting there proactively trying to prevent people from doing this and looking into every situation as deep as they should. Trust me, dog. I've been involved in multiple different situations where other people have ran certain things in the game, and RF, the current RF, is not going to be the type to ban people that need to be banned and really, stop people. Yeah, if you just come out and you run some sort of hack where you're doing a 10 jump in on a rhythm section in an amateur race, and it's completely obvious that you're doing it, yeah, you're going to get banned for that, okay? That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all these people that are actually smart about it. All of these, what I call the real scammers of the game, the real hackers of the game, the real people that are actually getting away with this shit, that are actually trying to somewhat do it without getting caught. They're trying to be somewhat smart about it, and they're going in there and they're not telling, all their buddies that, hey, dude, I got away with key sharing. Dude, I got this hack and I'm going to run it. Half the people that I would say 90% of the people that get caught running anything in this game are like that. They're just super, super obvious with it. And my problem is all these people that have gotten these race wins, championship wins over the past 2 and 3 years in this game, completely ruined the history books, and RF never even caught them running a hack, key sharing, whether it was for all the rounds or not, or all the races or not, whatever the case may be. It don't matter, right? Whether or not you couldn't make it to one race and you had your buddy key share for you and you got a 5th place in that race or a 3rd place when you should have actually gotten a dead last place and 0 points. Whether or not, it's the same difference, man. That's what I'm saying. Whether you're hacking, key sharing, you're getting a better result, better points than you should have or normally would have gotten. It's the same difference. It's the same level of cheating in the game. It's the same thing whether or not you're running a micro hack or you're key sharing or any of that kind of horse shit. It's the same difference, man. It really is. At the end of the day, it's the same difference. But that's what I'm saying, man. There is so many people. Think about all the ones that haven't been caught. Think about all the ones that actually have half of a brain and know how to key share and hack without getting caught, right? Think about all the ones that actually, think about what they're doing and oh, I'll just run this little, 10% acceleration hack over here for this one race. I'll just come over here and run this 5% lower gravity hack for this other race. And they never even got caught doing it. Right under RF's noses, they never got caught. They got all these different results and championships and things like that. And they never got caught. That's what I'm saying, man. This shit can't even be trusted anymore. And that's what makes it to where it don't even mean anything anymore. They're still using the RF name, but winning nowadays, winning after RF came back from the, when RF shut down and then came back, winning nowadays is not even the same thing as winning before RF shut down. It's not the same thing, man. Back in those days, you had RF officials that would actually look into situations. They would actually figure out what was going on, right? I'm telling you, man, you did not have all of this scamming, hacking. You would have a key share every once in a while. It was a lot more rare than it is now. You didn't have everybody and their grandmother key sharing, but, every once in a good while, even back in the day, you would have somebody that would get caught key sharing, and then they would be completely shunned off of the face of the earth. They would be completely blacklisted out of the entire game. They wouldn't just be let back in a year later and then, nothing even happened. We all still love Russ Chapman. Oh my God, he's so good at the game. Even though he scammed the entire game in every single way, and he's a complete fraud and been proven to be a fraud multiple times in the game. No, there's nothing wrong with that. If that don't go to show you how fucked up the community of this game is now, you literally get respect by cheating in the game now. That's how bad it is. I shit you not. This is the stuff that you guys that are racing legit, you just don't get it, man. This community has become so toxic and so, I don't even know what it is. It's like a whole new wave of, it's more cool to get away with running a hack or key sharing in a race than it is to actually earn it. Legit. I swear to God. That's the way it is in the game now. That's the way the community of MX Simulator is now. I don't know if that's just a product of a lot more younger dudes getting into the game now than it seems like it was back in the day. I don't know. But back in the day, it was like the RF officials, they were more of their own entity, right? They didn't have all of these shady connections with all of these. See, nowadays it's too political. I swear to God, it's more political than the fucking United States government. Like, I swear MX Simulator RF Pro Racing is like that in this game. It's insane, man. Like, there's so much of this kiss up to the top dudes in RF because they're really just community people. That's all they are at this point in time, man. It's not the developer of the game that's running RF, which is a really big problem. It's really just a bunch of these random community people, and then they'll bring in other people in the community that have kissed up to them to get to that point, right? So then you get a circle jerk of all of these dudes kissing up to each other. Nobody can do anything wrong. Everything we say is just the right thing to be doing, and then you have all these new younger kids getting into RF, and they think it's still this super professional thing like it used to be, so then they kiss up to all these RF officials and RF track makers. Oh my God, you're a god, because you're an RF track maker, dude. Holy shit, right? Like, I promise you, there are people that act that way, man. And so then you get this shady political, well, now the RF track maker is going to give his buddies the track early, and then these RF officials are going to give their teammates the track early, and then, right, like, it's become this, it's changed from this super professional RF officials handling their shit and being old enough to know what the heck they're doing, and they don't do all that kind of shady little shit, to nowadays where it's like, it's a community. It feels more like just a random community series than an actual full-blown professional esports paid series in the game. That's the difference nowadays. That's what I mean when I say RF is not even RF anymore. Yeah, they're still using the name, but it's a completely different atmosphere. It's a completely different, ecosystem. It's a totally different kind of pro racing in the game now. That's what I mean. Like, trust me, dog, if you've seen all the things that I've seen in the past 2 and 3 years in this game, you would You would believe every single thing that I'm saying, man. Trust me. Trust me, dude. That's why I haven't really been racing for the past 2 and 3 years. I mean, it's just, a lot of people think it's just because of Erode. No, it's not, dude. I've raced in plenty of Erode races in this game. Trust me, if Erode was the only issue to the RF Pro Racing of this game, it would still be amazing, right? If that was their only issue, I would still be racing right now. That is not the only issue. RF is literally crumbling in every single way you can possibly imagine. There's no integrity left. They let the Keysharers back in. They share the tracks with God knows who. They don't know what the heck they're doing with Erode. I don't know how much more they can prove that than over the past 3 years of literally beta testing Erode in the game, running every single setting possible that you can even imagine with Erode. You know, Erode to pre-made, to this, to that, to this, to change it individual in between motos and not telling you how much they're changing it. I mean, it's just insane. All the different kind of track designs they've went through over the past year in 2020. Every single track felt like it was from a completely different year in the game. There is no coherent, consistent, professional. It's just not, dogs. It's just not the same. It's not the same thing. It's not the same people. It don't mean the same when you win now. That's what I mean. There's been so many fraudulent people that have gotten away with Keysharing, hacking, scamming, doing all this crap, and getting results by doing it that it's totally killed what it even means to do good in an RF race. And that's what makes RF what it is, right? So that's what I mean. It's getting to that point now where they can still use the RF name, but the game is getting so known as a cheat, hacked, scammed, not professional pro racing experience that it don't even matter anymore. You can say you won a RF main event in 2021, but that shit don't even hold a light to saying that you won an RF main event back in 2017 or 2016 or 2014 or something like that, you know? It's not even the same thing anymore. That's the whole problem. This shit is so fucked. Oh my. Oh my. Either way, I've rambled on long enough. It ain't the same anymore. It just ain't the same.